looking at just simple instabilities. You know, what does it take to create an avalanche? A guy walking across an unstable ice field. What does it take to trigger an earthquake? The right signal coming in when the pressures are already built up and they're at their threshold. That feather, and in our case that hammer, releases that energy.
Seismic data offers an opportunity to provide a detailed look at the geological structure beneath the Earth's surface. With the aid of a subsurface seismic image, prospective hydrocarbon accumulations are selected and drilled by exploration wells. The use of seismic technology is analogous to ultrasound technology, which is commonly used in the medical profession for imaging the human body.
Dr. Agnew experienced the power of ELF waves firsthand back in the 1980s. He was hired by an energy company to locate oil and gas using the same kind of ELF waves at much lower frequencies to carry out his search. It's a process called earth tomography. But during one particular incident, Dr. Agnew believes his use of HAARP-like ELF waves accidentally triggered an earthquake.
It was in the spring of 1987 we arrived in Roseburg, Oregon to use our ELF technology to search for oil and gas. Setting up that day, we had a little bit different results than we expected because the instant that we energized it, there was between a 4 and 4.5 on the Richter scale earthquake that occurred. We were so amazed about what seemed to be cause and effect. We get to an area that has a high propensity for earthquakes in an area known as the megathrust of the Pacific Northwest. We turn it on and an earthquake occurs.
D.K. Keene, who is commanding the U.S. military force there. General, I want to start with you. Just by coincidence, you were in Haiti when this earthquake happened, and you had quite a scare there. Tell us what happened.
Well, sir, I was staying at the ambassador residence. Like you said, we were there on a pre-planned visit with about 5 of my fellow service members. My executive officer and I were in the ambassador residence when the earthquake struck. 3 of my personnel were in the Hotel Montana that completely collapsed.
Dr. Agnew demonstrates how he may have triggered the quake.
This is a scale model of what the area looked like in Oregon when we scanned for oil and gas in 1987. The strata right here represents the megathrust area underneath the ground. The rock represents the potential energy set up in the ground from a tectonic stress. What we're going to do is introduce ELF waves and demonstrate that it can in fact trigger an earthquake.
In this case, Dr. Agnew is using a stereo speaker to produce the ELF waves needed for his demonstration.
ELF waves, extremely low frequency waves, are just like a subwoofer. In your car, you can actually feel the vibrations through your body. ELF waves are the same way. They vibrate the earth, and at right resonant frequencies, they can have devastating effects.
When the speaker is activated, ELF waves begin to emit. Tiny vibrations in the sand are detected. Then a few seconds later, the rock representing the fault line shifts.
As you can see, in a very few seconds, the resonant frequency built up in our model released the potential energy in the rock. That concussion, on a real scale, would have been felt for 100 miles. These conditions are already set up in the ground. All it takes is the activation energy to make the release happen. This is a small scale, and we're only using 30 watts in this scale.
When
Today, areas such as West Africa and Southeast Asia are among the list of major oil-producing regions. In recent
Another huge earthquake. We're just getting word of another earthquake. Lisa Sylvester is getting all the information. Where? How big, Lisa?
Wolf, this information is coming from the U.S. Geological Survey. They're saying that it was a 7.8 earthquake that hit Sumatra in Indonesia. And it happened around 5:15 in the morning local time.
Oil and natural gas are 2 of the Earth's most prolific natural resources, not only as an energy source, but also as a major commodity, which is traded all over the world and is therefore an essential part of the global economy.
Over 5% of Tiger Stadium would be full every day. That means to date, Death Valley has been filled 4 times.
It has remained an important earth resource despite claims made in the 1970s that reserves would run dry by the year 2000 in areas such as the North Sea. This, however, is not the case. Although areas such as the North Sea are considered to be more mature oil-producing areas, modern seismic exploration methods provide a more detailed image of the subsurface than ever before, and the possibility of discovering oil and gas accumulations which had not been identified in the past. Such technology, coupled with improved exploration drilling capabilities, allows for more efficient production from existing reservoirs, which may have been close
An astronomical amount of oil is leaking into the Gulf every day.
to exhaustion using older technology. In recent years, new reserves have been found as a result of seismic exploration efforts throughout the world's sedimentary basins. Once it has been concluded that a particular area is prospective for hydrocarbon reserves, seismic surveys are carried out in order to image the subsurface geology structure. Seismic data provides the first chance to look at the geological structure beneath the Earth's surface. With the aid of a subsurface seismic image, prospective hydrocarbon accumulations are selected and drilled by exploration wells, which will hopefully result in hydrocarbons being discovered. Production equipment is then put in place, and crude oil is transported either directly to a refinery by pipeline or indirectly by tanker. Marine geophysical operations are temporary undertakings, conducted by trained personnel utilizing carefully designed equipment and techniques. Requirements for such measures vary between geographic regions and are based on a combination of a precautionary approach, risk assessment, and the results of various levels of scientific research. As well as meeting any local regulatory requirements, or in the absence of any national regulatory requirements, many E&P activities adhere to internally driven environmental management strategies, which are specific to each project activity.